Morning everyone, so it's me Brad Burton. I'm joined today by Sharon Baker from Kinder. Oh, change that again, see, I'm making a mess. So good morning everyone, so it's me Brad Burton and we're over at Hereford Means Business Conference and I'm joined today by Gary Turner, co-founder of Xero, high five G, and of course Sharon Baker of Kinder Digital. Sharon, it's your show, take it away.
Okay, so I'm really lucky to have these two legends in the house. So Gary, I met in 2012 when we started using Xero. We've been Xero partners since then. We're 100% Xero. We live and breathe it. So it's really important that we've got this guy in the room. We're going to ask him some really very serious business questions, Gary.
Excellent. I like those.
Good. So, as we're coming towards the end of 2023, it's been a tough slog for a lot of people, a lot of businesses the last few years. What are your top tips and what would you say people's top priorities should be leading into 2024, Gary?
Oh, that's a big question. I think maybe part of my answer is in the question is that a lot of people talk about priorities, and the problem with that is that having multiple priorities is often a problem. There should be a priority,
just one, and
there should be a number of initiatives or things that you're going to do that support that. You can maybe have a couple of priorities, but the fewer the better. I think they say the strongest steels are forged in the hottest fires, and I think the last 3 years have been incredibly difficult, from the pandemic, from the recession, from the economic kind of challenges that people have had, just keeping their businesses going. But I think, touch wood, we're on the way back, and I think 24 is going to be much more about building, looking forwards, a better economic environment, and the fact is that you're still in business, you're still hanging in there or even growing now, puts you in an incredibly strong position. And so make a decision about what your priority is going to be. Focus is incredibly difficult, many distractions, it's very hard to say no to things, but businesses are going to have to really be clear about what they're going to bet on in 24, because I think we're turning a corner, and that's great for all businesses.
I think that's brilliant advice. I think we are turning a corner, but it's really easy with businesses sort of building their trajectory for next year to keep flipping and changing their priorities. So you might think you've got one thing and then you might panic and move on to something else. So what do you think, Brad? You've been through a lot of stuff. How do you keep focused?
That's a fair assessment, because there's no plan B. You know, you have to be 100% resolute with your plan A. And it was funny what Gary just said then, it's a bit like the Brexit, you can't go left and right at the same time, that's why people end up stuck. I would suggest that 2024 for me is about mindset. I think that fundamentally people try to fix their business and they fix their life without fixing their mindset. I was living proof of this. You know, I had a successful multi-million-pound business, my life wasn't great, my mindset wasn't great. So fundamentally I've focused on getting my mindset right, then you get your life right, then you get your business right, which is counterintuitive to everything that I've ever been kind of told, The Apprentice and Dragon's Den. But I think that's crucial. And what Gary said then about the priority thing, I've been guilty of that. I've been guilty in the past of always constantly, oh, this is amazing, this is exciting, and you get that excitement, but it's got the nutritional content across with what you do. Do you know what I mean? And actually, Gary nailed it. You don't grow a business as he did without keeping that priority and that focus. And that mindset and priority, singular, is the way forward in 2024.
I agree. And I would say also getting the personal stuff right and not just focusing on the business. We're all told that, right? We don't go to business school, but when you're running a business, that's what your focus is. Right. But what I've learned, probably from both of you, is you can't get your business in order if you haven't got your personal
There's a bit like foundations there, Sharon. It's a bit like foundations. You know, you build a house or a property like this, it's got solid foundations. If you don't get that right, you're in trouble. Over the years, Gary, you got that right, your foundations?
You have, and by the way, no matter how successful your business is, there's always problems. You know what I mean? You have this illusion of businesses that grow and succeed, and this is perfect like hockey stick. Perfect curve. Actually, if you double click into that curve, it's all over the place, right? And so there's no such thing as the perfect business plan, the perfect business owner and operator. The reality is there are problems that you've got to deal with. There are things change, you've got to change course, you've got to be on top of it. But you're right about the whole personal thing. If you don't get that balance right, then you get sucked into the kind of vortex of just keeping the business going, and that then dictates your life. Yeah. And it's an unhealthy balance. So making sure you have that balance is so important.
Absolutely.
I think that our ability to accept change, that things change. Yeah, but the plan's this. Yeah, I get that, but circumstances have changed. Nobody could have predicted the pandemic.
No.
Nobody could have predicted the pandemic. And I did actually, when I spoke with the keynote, I said to the audience, did anyone have the pandemic on the business plan? And somebody put their hand up and said yes. I said, oh, tell me, sir, how did that paragraph of text help you navigate the pandemic? It didn't. So really what business is about dealing with whatever's on your plate. So you have you have a plan, but you also need to be flexible enough to change that plan if things do change, as my life did.
You've got. I read a book not long ago by a successful Silicon Valley entrepreneur Ben Horowitz, and he talked about the job of a leader. Not only is to deal with change, and you kind of have to embrace change, and if you can be comfortable and actually welcome changing dynamics, then it's a great place to be. But run towards trouble, don't run away from it. It's such a powerful thing, you know what I mean? It's like, if something's going wrong in your business, or something's not working right, often your natural kind of instinct is, oh, I don't want to look at that, actually. I'd rather be in denial about that.
Yeah.
Maybe that will fix itself, and I'm going to go and work on the stuff that I can actually influence. And Ben Horowitz talks about this, you've got to run towards trouble. The minute you find a problem as a leader, your number one job is to run towards that, fix it, find it, sort it out.
Yeah.
And it's such a powerful thing, but so many people struggle with that.
You know what's interesting about that is I pride myself on running towards problems until I didn't, and I've just thought, I can think of numerous times when I didn't, when actually I knew there was something, but it was too big a problem to deal with, so consequently I didn't deal with it, and hoping that the pebble in shoe, someone magic way out. Never did, ever.
We talk about eating a frog.
Yes.
So first thing in the morning, do the difficult thing first, get that out of the way. And boy, does it make you feel better when you get the horrible thing out of the way first, and then reward yourself with something good.
Absolutely.
It's a cup of tea or phoning a lovely client or something. So it's a good point though about business. Not every business is the perfect hockey stick. In business and in personal, people put their best selves on social media, and that is just in our faces all the time, isn't it? So that's what you see. You don't see very often the nitty gritty and the how difficult it is to run a business. So I think that's a good point though. Like, it's hard running a business, but we've made it this far. To anybody listening, watching, we've made it this far.
19 years in?
Yes.
19 years in. Let me tell you, I last did 16, so I did 16. And statistically, only 5% of businesses, 6, man, you can edit that, 6% of businesses last over 10 years. So the fact that you've done 19 years, can I ask you, what's your secret?
Perseverance, focus, having an amazing team, and moving forward, the priorities, I think.
19 years, that's something else. I mean, you know, like I said, I did 16, how many did you do?
Too many to remember. The point is, it's hard, right? And you just mentioned perseverance there, and it's that ability to, no matter what comes at you, to overcome it, to drive around it, to work your way through it, and to persevere and to keep going. And that must come from a real sense of passion that you've got for what you do, looking after your customers.
Yeah.
And a purpose as well. Why it is you're doing what you're doing?
Yeah.
And it is hard. And I used to say to my team a lot, so if it was easy, anyone could do it. Right?
That's true.
Right.
Yeah.
If it was easy, anyone could do it. So it's got to be hard. Otherwise, what's the point?
Yeah.
But yeah, I think you've done an incredible job, Sharon, in that time. I can't believe it's 19 years.
19 years.
20 years is the...
2005,
My goodness.
Crackers, absolute crackers. Do that pacemaking. Well done.
And that, but thank you that 2012, honestly, finding Xero, I still say it like a broken record, just changed everything. I was like the bog standard accountant. It's like a much nicer way of doing things. I went to art college after school, and just the way that all of the software works, and it's so visual and thinking about how the things talk to each other, I think there's my passion for the creativity is all in there. But helping people, I think, at the end of the day. You
know what's crazy about that? So it's like a guy obviously, and how Xero, the legacy, shaped and steered my life as well. Xerocom, you know, that's just and you think to yourself, a bit of software. And we were talking last night as regards when we first met. And it was 2010. my business was bigger than his. Do you know what I mean? But it's just fascinating to see that this whole journey that we've been on.
Yeah.
But Xero changed the game, and I think they made, and that was always the intent, accounting cool, and you are cool.
Ah, thank
Truth
you.
story.
You two are cool.
Loving
Thank
the
you
hair,
so
by
much.
the way, girl.
Thank you very much.
Seriously.
Well done, Sharon.
Should have a salon, not a saloon. Salon.
A salon.
There you go.
Thank you. Thank you both so much for this event. I'm going to say one last thing from what we've been talking about today. What our passion at Kinder Digital Accountants is to help you look at where you are now and where you could get to in the next 12 months. That is essential for 2024, and that's what I'm spending my time doing. So get in touch if we can help you or myself and my team. Thank you, Gary and Fran and Kelly for filming.
Cheers, guys.